welcome to day 2 of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships for 2019, live on the Ultimate Australia YouTube channel. Simon Tolwood here with Gemma Riddock.
Hey, how you feeling, Simon?
Pretty good, pretty cold. It's chilly in Bendigo this morning. The air temperature's actually not that bad. I'd say it's sort of late teens, but it's the wind chill that's burning through most teams' uniforms and outer layers. You can see most of Royal Dansk there very rugged up.
Yeah, definitely. And my Caroma were still very much in their trackies when their warm-up as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the weather and the wind even is going to affect the play of both teams.
Yeah, we definitely saw yesterday's coverage on Ulti TV. We definitely saw the wind played a major role in games. It's similar kind of windy conditions today, so it's probably a 25 to 30k an hour wind going from right to left. So there's a very definite upwind and downwind end in this game. So we'll likely see a lot of zone play.
Yes,
and any offense heading up towards the right side of the screen is going to be tricky business. So the two teams, Royal Dansk and Caroma, both Victorian teams, so both accustomed to these conditions, you'd think. Caroma coming out of Victoria as the runners-up of the Victoria Mixed Ultimate Championships. Royal Dansk getting through on a wild card after finishing, I think it was fourth place at the Victorian Championships.
Yep, that's right. And both teams are showing quite high competitive individual players on the teams, from various under-24 Australian teams, from Ellipsis in the Open and Women's season. So it should be a very highly competitive game with a lot of athleticism, throws, all around.
So, Caroma? What are we going with? What do they go
it's
with?
based on Carol and Ma,
Yeah.
but the song is Caroma, so
Yep.
I think it's pretty interchangeable. But
Let's pick one. What are we going to go with? Caroma?
Caroma.
Let's
go with the song. Good song.
Hines to pull. It's a short pull, and we'll see that a bit today. I think anything half field is a pass mark in these conditions. So they've come down with the zone. Mihach. Nice little high release to get going. Vada. Sivnadam to O'Connor, who fumbles that one. Eddie throws heading downwind, get pushed down by the wind, so it can be a bit tricky. Osman. He's got Weatherall looking deep. Weimer's there as well, but Sivnadam gets a hand on that. So throwing upwind, Gemma, the throws do hang in the air a long time, don't they?
Yes, they do. And you've got to have really good set of hands, especially in this cold, to make sure that you grab that down early.
So Dansk really pinned back in the corner, 64 from goal. Vada to restart. O'Connor, clean hands this time. Sivnadam. Another quick short pass to O'Connor. Goes straight through her hands. It's hard to get your hands warmed up in this weather. Matthews Hunter. To Dignam. Nice backhand break back to Matthews Hunter.
Great grab.
And Nakaya Blair. She's had to go high to take the grab, but has landed right on the line, which means, of course, that's out of bounds. But a beautiful breakthrough out to Howard. Alex Maher, another fumble there from Dansk. We're probably going to see a few of them from teams going downwind today. Weimer puts a big forehand shot up, looking for Matthews Hunter, and that one is caught inbounds for the first goal, going upwind. And of course, upwind goals are crucial in conditions like today. Of course, Gemma, you'd expect most goals to be scored on the left-hand side today, so anything going to the right-hand side is an advantage.
I'm sure that they'll be very much utilising that, and hopefully, yeah, having the wind in their favour.
So see that shot again from Weimer, perfectly weighted.
There was quite a few fumbles from Royal Dansk. I think with a bit of an excitement of the game.
Yep.
bit of wind and a bit of cold hands. So hopefully they'll switch on for the next point.
Also, when you're throwing downwind, the wind can really sharply push the disc down if there's not enough spin on it.
Yes.
So if you've got just the usual catching motion, sometimes it can catch you off guard.
Yeah, 100%.
See, Caroma got a strong defensive line out there. Hines, Osmond, Matthews, Hunter, Weatherall, Chung, Eldred. Another zone look. Shavada, Lapari, one of Australia's under 24 representatives. Big shot through the middle, looking for Megan Brass there, but puts it too high. Hines, about 20 from goal. Matthews Hunter. A big high release shot looking for Osmond. And
there's been a call.
Yeah, when someone's all on their own in the end zone like that, generally means there's been a pick call. Someone's been inadvertently blocked from playing defense. It was Lapari on that occasion. Matthews Hunter, Payne on the mark.
Another fumble.
Another fumble. But Hines was already looking forward to what he was going to throw once he had it. Payne.
Breaking through that zone very quickly now.
Another fumble. Payne wondering if there's holes in his hands. Ma to Chung. Fast flowing offense now. And, good smooth flowing offense that time from Caroma. They didn't mess around with that one.
No, beautiful throws. Knew exactly where they wanted it. Clean cuts. Very clinical there.
Just scored a 2-0, and Gemma, you were chatting to Caroma before the game. They have a fairly small roster.
Yes, they do. I was speaking to Crystal Chung, who is not playing, but she was saying that yesterday with the 4 wins, it's still quite difficult to, have the athleticism, to have the motivation with, having such a small roster. With having 4 games is quite a lot.
Yeah. And generally when you've got a small roster, you struggle to have that real sideline voice and presence, because it's generally the players who have just been on the field, have just come off, they want to have a rest, they're not ready to get there and support, so you can be a bit stranded. But all teams played 4 games yesterday. Most will play 3, if not 4 today as well. So certainly a demanding event. Wyman to pull for Caroma. Going upwind. Keeps it low and flat, so it's not affected by the wind. He's done very well there. Got it to the opposite brick mark, so gives him about 45 minutes of field to defend.
Mark cutting long. He's
Kaplan
free.
Sends it. That's probably going to drift out the back, I think. Definitely the right option there, I think, because now they've got the full field to defend heading upwind, and it was Pentland's lefty backhand, like he's left-handed, and he's just got that the leverage to put a lot of power on that backhand, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And I think sometimes being a lefty is sometimes an advantage.
So Weimer to restart play. Dansk running with a 3-3-1 zone as well. Mar and Weimer continues to work together. Dansk's got a one-way force. They're trying to get them over to the near side of the field and really pin them down, but any break throws out like that by Mar just alleviates that pressure. Liu around to Evans. And Evans, just too low for Evans. Had to be clever with the throw. Oh, dig them Nelly with the run through D, but then the fumble there from Alacon. Really looking to the high side of the field. Puts a big bladey shot up looking for Dignam. So you can see she definitely wanted the disc over to that side of the field rather than looking towards the goal. It was much easier to attack upwind from that high side of the field. Pentland. To Alacon. Nice little shot over the top to Pentland, who's found some space. He's got a couple of looks in the end zone. And Mehatch into the end zone. Kellen Lowry with the goal there. Much better offense that time from Dansk. What I've noticed, Gemma, is that most of their turnovers are happening on little 2 or 3 metre passes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think once they looked for Ma there in the end zone, that was a great look to get that long game going and to get a bit more momentum rather than the 2 to 3 metres where as you said, the turnovers have been happening.
Sometimes those turnovers can happen just because you don't think about the distance. You just kind of think, oh, well, the disc will get there if I just let go of it. And you forget to put spin on it. And then if there's no spin on the disc in windy conditions, chaos ensues.
Yeah, I think for Royal Dansk, the excitement is high, and I think they just need to go back to basics. They just need to focus on those catches, focus on getting that spin on the disc, and they'll hopefully improve that over the next couple of points, which I'm sure we'll see.
So we see Mike Kelly there playing the role of coach this game. He's playing limited game time this tournament. Varda to pull. Sends that high, and that's going to drift. That's not going to land in bounds. That's lands out, and Hines smartly takes the brick, which means that they will start play about 44 metres from goal, centre of the field. Running a 2-5 horizontal stack. Sorry, a 3-4. Matthews Hunter to Osmond. To Eunice Chung. Cops a cleat to the big toe on the way through from Payne, and that's going to sting. Got him pinned to that high sideline. Howard on the mark, just not letting anything go backwards, forcing him to throw forwards. Nixon finds space, puts the hammer over the top to Weatherall.
Oh, great grab. Very safe hands there.
Yeah. And that was a terrific shot by Nixon.
Yeah.
It's hard to throw accurate hammer in any kind of windy conditions because the wind can be unpredictable on those upside down throws. Nixon just found that gap beautifully, and then the hammer was bang on, the right choice there. He couldn't put a backhand or a forehand through those gaps there. So I had to go over the top, and it was didn't have to put a lot of power on it. Just let the wind carry it.
Yeah, and they had 2 female players, Eva Weatherall and another Mike Caroma player wide open in the end zone. It was great to see.
Yeah. Using
that space really well.
And that can be the trick playing zone is when you're playing zone, you've got to have all your defensive players closer to the disc, which means that it's very high risk, high reward. You've got to give up space somewhere, and it tends to be at the back. So when a throw does break through that zone, it leaves you exposed. Hines with the pull, puts that pretty much spot on in the middle of the field. So Caroma running a... And Varda takes that early shot, looking for Ma again, but puts a bit of spin on that and nearly puts that into the car park. Probably an angled throw is not the right choice going downwind.
No, definitely not. I think a nice round or making sure it's nice and flat in this weather conditions is really important.
I think Dansk are running with the tactic of just playing the game of field position. Hines to Weimer. To Evans. Caroma just content just to work it down this sideline, take what they're given. Matthews going for the slide tackle on the way through. Evans puts it high. Hines keeps his foot in bounds, very clever. Blair. Matthews puts that shot up looking for Dignam, but probably a bit too far from the end zone for those kind of shots. The discus has rolled a bit further, and Harsha Varda from Stall 7 Club in Chennai. Hello to any fans out there who are watching.
Some really good communication going on with Mike Caroma in this zone offense.
Beautiful breakthrough. He's found Payne in the middle of the field. Back to Varda, another big gainer. Another breakthrough of the cup. Other kind of aiding Payne to get another few metres. They've got it to halfway now. But Caroma have got him pinned to that corner. This time he puts a nice flat. He's kept the height of that one a bit lower than the last one, Gemma. He's found Sivnadam
Yes, and
in the end zone.
Sivnadam was very well open in that end zone. We actually had quite a few players from Royal Danks hitting that end zone there, with Parks and Ma and Sivnadam all waiting for that throw, waiting in the end zone there.
So we saw that first shot from Varda. Obviously put too much height on it to be caught and lifted by the wind, but this one he kept nice and low, kept it no more than about 3 meters off the ground. So you see here, he shot it right down the sideline, so nice and direct. Not even 3 meters, probably 2.5. I think any higher than that, you risk it being carried away by the wind.
Yep, was right sent right to his chest. A very good throw there.
You see again, great form. So 3-2 the score. Caroma still having the advantage of, I think has got the advantage of one upward score, which means if all scores were to go downwind from now on, they're still going to win by 1 or 2. So Dansk need to not only get the disc off Caroma, they need to go 64 metres upwind to get that advantage back. Liu looks immediately for that throw to that high side of the field. Chung gets a little bit from Mihatch on the way through. Chung. Again, they're just going to work down the sideline, working in a narrow corridor, but they've broken through to Vino and gone straight through the fingers of pain there to hit Weatherall again. Much tighter defense from Dansk that time. There was a few that sort of just got through fingertips. Didn't do it quite so easily this time.
Yeah, Mihatch really wanted that in the cup there. She was really close, and you could see they're all really trying, but Mike Caroma were working really well through that cup and just looking down that line. Got it straight, and as soon as they got it straight through the cup, it was quite easy there to pass it down to the end zone.
Yeah, so the Dansk they've got them forced, trying to pin them on the sideline, but Caroma are just content just to work down that narrow window of what the space available on the sideline. It's only like a metre or 2, so the throws need to be spot on, but if you can get 1 or 2 passes through that accurately, it allows you to work around the zone and break back through the middle of the field that way.
Yeah, I think Royal Danks might have to put on a little bit more aggressive D.
Yeah.
And be ready for those quick throws that Mike Caroma are showing.
They still need to keep scoring downwind, so reliably putting in the shots to the left side of field just to keep them in touch, because at the moment Caroma had the advantage. I don't think they need to work overly hard to take control of this game. They know the pressure's all on Dansk at the moment. Great pull by Weimer. He's got good distance with that, given the conditions. Give him about 50 metres of field to defend. Varda to play quickly. Going with a match defence this time. Big loopy backhand to the advantage of Sivnadam, and Sivnadam and Howard both running it down. Not a bad option. Just put a little bit to, actually it's a good option because that's the advantage Cutter's had. They've locked the defence zone, again pinning them to this near sideline. And again, that shot down to Chung. Weatherall and Chung getting a couple of extra metres just with 1-2s.
Mihatch wants it.
Andrew C. Amazing throw. Keeps that low. Weimer puts a bit too much on it. And Alacon clogs it. Evans! He's kept that alive.
What a grab.
He goes
no. Unlucky.
Tries to keep the momentum going, but puts it into the turf. Fantastic grab by James Evans. That's a restart. They've adjusted to a vertical stack and dig them. Can't quite get to it. Howard tumbling to take the catch. Inside to Alacon, but throws too far behind her. C wants a long shot early. He's gone to it quickly. Getting some cheap meters with Gunnar Strong's assistance. Evans has found space through the middle, but he's tried to hurry into the throw and lost grip on it. Mehatch wants to get the disc to centre field. Has found Eldred down the line.
Cut.
Great shot. Puts it across looking for Howard, but sees all over that. And again, that throws to him wide. That's a couple Dansk have put wide. I think they've got the right idea. Rather than keep punching forward once they get to the end zone, they want to hit across the field. But we've seen two now that they've taken that option, but just put too much on it. Weimer. So you see Evans just trolling that middle space. Chung.
They're quite calm and patient, these throws from Caroma.
Again, still just working down that sideline space that they're being given. It's not much, but it's enough for them. Chung sends it down the line. Weatherall, again, her third goal of the game.
They seem to be really focused on the cup and quite those short, to stop those short throws, because they have been the most effective, as you can see. They've been very easily popping it through that cup, but then Weatherall has been always sitting in the end zone, just waiting for that disc, and they've always just got it to her.
She's shown immense trust in her teammates there, just by parking herself deep, thinking they'll get to me. They'll go to me somehow. Don't have to worry too much about getting involved, other than just being there for it as a target. So you see that pinpoint throw again, working in only about 2 meters of width of the field there. And Dansk need to be wary of that with their zone defense. That's about 3 goals they've given up now easily, just by Caroma working it down that 2 meter corridor. You would want either one of their wings to come in and close that off, or shift the defensive wall around a bit to cover that down the line. But the risk of that, of course, is you open up gaps in the middle of the field.
Yeah, which is where they have been definitely utilising that space.
The wind has really picked up. You can hear through the through the effects markets. And it's picked up that pull and sent it out of bounds out in the back of the end zone. Lipari putting his hand up to say, we'll take the brick mark, thank you. Which means that they'll play 20 metres infield. It can be a risk trying to put the pull to the back of the end zone, because if you do land it back there, you've got nearly 80 metres of field to defend, but put it out too much and that's cut in half. You've only got 40. Caroma again going with the one-way force, looking to pin him to the near sideline here. And they've got all their defenders playing in very close. Parks. Varda breaks it through. What a shot. Lipari instantly looks downfield looking for Mark, positions himself well and takes the grab on the second go. Wants to get it forward.
We got Parks in the end zone.
Another breakthrough on Lipari. Lowry on the doorstep there to Alex Ma.
Well deserved by Ma there.
Yeah, that's their first upwind goal. Brings the score to 5-3. Those 2 low forehand shots from Varda just to break the defense wide open. They were amazing.
Yeah, very, very clinical there. Definitely going to need that in this wind.
Lipari obviously positioned himself exactly square to Varda, knowing that he's got that throw and that he likes it, he looks for it. That's just good familiarity with the teammates.
Yeah, and Royal Dansk, a collection of friends and under-22 players from Victoria. So I think that they've got quite good bonds between each other, trust, which is really important for a team. So hopefully they can show that through this game.
So this is a chance to pin back the gap. It's 5-3 now. If they can get this, get the disc off Caroma here and put the goal in, that'll be 5-4. With a chance to bring it back to even, but we've seen Caroma go a couple of times upwind. Great pull there by Cinderdan. That's going to land in. Is it? Yep, right towards the back of the end zone. Chung. They've moved it up quickly, Liu, so they're now on their own end zone line. Dignam. Eunice Chung just getting easy passes here. Matthew Sunner. Wants to get off that sideline. Gets it across to Mark. Dignam. Another great shot out to Hines for a huge gainer. He's got Osman deep. He's got the 9-9 onto that one. There's plenty of nubs underneath it. Payne goes early, comes off fingertips, and what a grab! Liu comes up with it.
Wow, that is incredible. That looked like just a single fingertip there.
It's pure chaos fist, that one. He backed Osman in. Osman, a very long, skinny fella, does very well in the air, but had about 3 Dansk defenders around him competing for that position. So we see again, Hines, he had the right idea, just put way too much height on it. See plenty of numbers underneath. I think who coming from the back? Sittendam, I think, got a finger to it. Enough to send it out the back, but Liu, great heads-up play.
It's probably one of the first longer shots that Caroma has gone for. And as you can see, it's probably a little bit risky with lots of tall players on both teams,
yeah.
But lucky for Liu, he's got great hands there.
Amazing catch. All of a sudden, it's 6-3 with Caroma going downwind to go 7-3. It's amazing how quickly the tide can turn in a game like this, where Dansk had a shot to get the disc off Caroma to go downwind and bring the margin back to 1, but all of a sudden it's out to 3. They're on the back foot. That pull has landed out of bounds. So they've opted to take the brick. Of course, the other choice they have is to take it from the sideline where it went out of bounds. But going upwind, you don't want to start on the sideline. You want to start from the middle of the field. So you prefer to concede yards. C and Varda having a few cheeky words to each other. Hatch.
For that dump.
Good, smart play.
Lots of undercuts happening, but nothing quite coming off.
Oh, Lipari can't secure it. Got fingertips to it, but couldn't maintain control. It was a good look.
Again, we've got two Caroma players deep looking for it. Again, Weatherhall.
Too low a shot there from Matthew Sunder. He's not happy with himself for that one. Alarcon to Varda. Evans swats it straight back to Varda. Varda thanks him for it, but this time Evans gets a much cleaner swipe on it. See, he's got Weatherall deep. And he's put it over, but Alarcon knew that was coming.
I think that
slots that away.
The Royal Dansk players are finally realising that Weatherall is always going to be there waiting for it.
That's going to be the target. The throwers are always going to look for her as the primary option to get goals. Alarcon now. Varda closely guarded by C. Low pass, Lipari having to leave his feet to secure that one this time. Puts it over the top looking for Alarcon, but Eber gets to it.
Great recovery by Ma there.
I've seen a few of those now. Those fingertip Ds going straight back to the opposition. He's got Lipari. Matthews Hunter makes sure of it by catching it. Straight inboard to Blair. Continues over to Evans, who has to go low and wide again. Shot to Weatherall. Weatherall puts it up looking for C, and C goes big.
Just drops at that last second. It was a beautiful throw from Weatherall, but just the wind just pushed it down.
Paula Alarcon's got the job on Weatherall now. They've obviously noticed that she's the main target, so putting one of their stronger defenders on her. Another fumble catch, and Ma goes straight to C this time. Caroma's 7th goal. I think match defense worked a bit better there for Dansk. They managed to get their hands on it a few more times than their zone.
Yeah, and I think on Royal Dank's offense, I think they've got some options happening, but I think perhaps not enough trust in the long throws and the under throws as well, and just kind of trying to jam it into places where perhaps they should just take their time, and like Caroma is showing, they're taking their time, very patient, nice easy throws.
And we saw some, we saw another few turnovers happen just on those shorter than 5 metre passes again. That's where most of those turns are happening. When they're trying to just, yeah, as you said, really just shove those passes into their lap, and it's just the weather forecast for this morning and probably this afternoon as well. It's around the Epsom Huntley Recreation Reserve on the northern outskirts of Bendigo. So it is, the landscape is as flat as the eye can see, with absolutely no protection from that wind rolling in from the west. And that pool's rolled straight back towards Caroma. So less scratching their heads on that one. They've only got about 10 metres of field to defend now. Caroma players on the sideline having a chuckle at that. Weimer can do nothing but smile. That didn't go well for him.
I think sometimes when there's intense wind like this,
Yep.
no matter what level of team you are, kind of almost levels both teams out.
It does. Game advisor Steve Baker retrieving the disc for Pentland. They're really got to protect this near side. Force Caroma to work it laterally. Eldred looks for Sibnadam with O'Connor out the back. Can't reel it in.
There's some good looks and some good cuts from Sibnam and O'Connor, but I think they just need to, the wind's really picking up, so I think they just need to have trust in those undercuts and just really look for those 2 to 3 metre shots.
A
But
bit more direct, yeah. Another no-spin pass, and they've quickly recovered.
great recovery there.
Yeah, Pentland straight to O'Connor for the goal. No messing about that time.
Knew what they needed to do.
That brings the score to 7-4. Of course, the goal's coming a bit quicker than we expected. Yesterday we were seeing goals scored at a rate of about 1 every 4 to 5 minutes, but this one we've got that averages down to about 3 minutes. So fairly quick offense and not as many turns as we've come to expect so far this weekend. So it seems that both teams are getting pretty comfortable with match defence right now, Gemma. Would you expect to see them both continue with that?
I think so, and as they've seen that, I think when Royal Danks has been on using their zone defence, my Caroma have been very patient, very calm with moving it forward and doing those overheads to particularly their females in the end zone. So I think Royal Danks do have the athleticism and the skill to do really good match defence. So
I suspect they'll probably put Jess Parks will get the job on Weatherall this point.
Yep. Jess Parks has incredible defence and I think she used to be a gymnast. So you'll see that she's got a very interesting defence style and she'll wait till it's smacked to the ground.
She's gone to Caroma and it seems that Megan Brass has got the job on Weatherall. Weatherall, again, it's just parked in the end zone. You can see at the top there. Andrew C, what a cut, what a throw from Nixon. Right on the goal line now. And Ma beats Parks to that near side of the field for Caroma's 8th goal. 8-4 the score. So again, just some cutting passes there from Caroma. Just got them to the end zone in short order and left Royal Dansk scrambling.
And the name Caroma, as we saw, who just scored, was Carolyn Ma, where the name is based off. Great name too, great song, and also a great player to name your team. She's represented Australia and played lots of high professional teams, so good standard for the whole team, really.
As we see this shot again from Nixon for C. Well, that brings us to the halftime break of this first game on day 2 of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships 2019 on Ultimate Australia. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with the second half in a few minutes. back for the second half. The first game of day two, the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships 2019. Simon Talbot here with Gemma Riddock on Ultimate Australia YouTube. And first possession hits the ground for Caroma, so Royal Dansk have a chance to go upwind. They've put a big shot, but straight to the lap of Carlin Liu. Whereas an invitee to the national team tryouts, Eunice Chong now. finds Ma all alone in the middle, and she puts a big shot up looking for Weatherall, and a bit too much for her. We're seeing a few shots like that today, Gemma.
Yeah, Weatherall has been scoring most of the points, I think, for my Caroma. Great threat, so one to watch out for this game.
Varda has got a couple of cuts heading towards him, but they're both well covered. O'Connor finds space.
We've got Alcon from Royal Dansk deep, just waiting for that disc.
Barry spotted her, wondering how he's going to get the disc out there. Probably needs another pass in between. Varda beats Nixon to the disc. He puts a shot up to Payne. His Deakin University teammate, Simnadam. Wants to just keep the disc moving. Barry's got a halfway, beautiful backhand shot for Payne. Goes big, but I think he sort of shot at either Payne or Alacon there, and just put it out there, said who wants it. Leo picks it up, wants to shoot her for Osmond. Osmond won out with Payne, but a lot of heat on that disc going downwind, and Osmond's just gotten up. Too much for me.
You can see on his face he gave up quite early on that one. No point.
So Dansk reverting just to typical vertical stack, and Caroma are playing match defense, almost as if there's no wind at all. Great break shot to Alacon. Continues to Eldred against one finger on it, but not enough. So Caroma will have another possession with Martin to pick up the disc. Osmond is the first cut. And Eldred's called travel on that throw, so thinks the Mar's taken her pivot foot up as she threw it. So this will go back to Mar, they'll try again. This time she sends the shot straight to Weatherall, who doesn't quite secure it. I think she expected O'Connor to get a finger to that one, but O'Connor did enough to put pressure on and force the drop. Another quick shot upfield has gone. Again, Eunice this time doesn't mess about. Straight to the lap of Angus Hines for his first goal. And Caroma extend their lead to 9-4.
Yeah, so my Caroma this tournament, yesterday they've had 4 wins. So first win was against Sublime. They were actually down 5-0 and they came back 12-11, which is quite an impressive comeback. And then they won against Lunchbox 15-9, won against Crank 14-10, and then won against CAF 15-9. So they've probably on a good run here with all their wins behind them. So
I'm impressed they've been getting to 15 goals in each of those games. We haven't seen many games go to score cap. Well, score cap being the first team to 15 goals. If that happens within the 80-minute period, the game is over. This one, we're 45 minutes in. We've had half. I suspect at this rate, we'll probably see Caroma get to 15, but
see both teams have their arms across their chest, trying to hold their warmth all together. At half time, I think would have been useful to have a jog around or something, because it's really chilly, that wind.
Yeah, the air temperature itself is not too bad. It's just the wind is just going right through everyone. Pulled her halfway down the field. Pentland's taking his time to pick it up. Caroma have gone back to their zone. Bo.
Got Larry and another female from Royal Dansk just waiting in the end zone.
I think it's Brass back there. Pentland spotted her.
Beautiful throw.
Yeah. Good work by Lowry and Brass there, just to park themselves either side of that end zone, forcing, I think it was Weimer back there playing deep, forcing him to defend one of them.
Yeah, got to pick one, you can't go to both.
Yeah. So Royal Dansk fortune yesterday, not as good as Caroma's.
Yeah, so they lost against Crank, which was 15-9. They lost to Soypud 15-7. They had a bit of a closer game in the end with CAF 12-10 and losing to Ballarat 12-11 as well. And they were down 11-7 at time cap. Then it became 11-all and they unfortunately lost on Universe. So from both Victorian teams, Ballarat and Royal Dansk, that would have been a real battle that they really wanted, and unfortunately they just didn't come out on that one.
That game nearly went for 2 hours.
Wow.
And of course, 4th game of the day for both teams. Everyone would have been well and truly on their last legs in those last couple of points. Good perseverance by Ballarat to get that win in the end, and that would have been devastating for Dansk. Would have been hunting for their first win. Varda puts that pull up. He's got it halfway, but gets a few extra metres through rolling. Osmond failing to stop it. They finally put it down on the sideline, about 40 from goal. C. Looking for Vino, but can't get it across. Nice, and Osmond, he's read that and wound that in. Nixon. Big break shot looking for Ma. He's done beautifully, weighted that perfectly to Ma. That's the second shot we've seen from Nixon that he's just set it out beautifully just to put towards the end zone. Doesn't put a lot of power on it. Just gets it up in the air, puts some spin on it, and lets the wind carry it most of the way. We saw that hammer shot earlier going downwind, but this time nice little forehand.
Yeah, and it seems they're starting to put a little bit more long throws now. And speaking to one of the Caroma players who said that mainly yesterday they were just focusing on their short game. Even though they do have those long throws, maybe they're trying to implement them a bit more now against Royal Dansk, who have a really good undergame on defense and offense.
So we saw just then before that, Osmond managed to keep the play alive after that swing pass from C to Nixon just got picked up by the wind. See it again, goes out of reach of Nixon, but Osmond, great heads up play to wind that in. Another look at that shot from Nixon. It's just
so flat.
Yeah, almost no forward power on it at all. Just drifted it out. That was a terrific shot. Hines with the ball. He's again got the same look. He's put much spin on it, but doesn't gain much territory on the roll. So Matthew Hunter's giving it a tap to bring it to rest. Mihatch, big. So Royal Dansk, upwind defensive conversion here could still make it interesting, because then they'd have a shot to go 10-8 and bring it back to a 2-goal game. There's still plenty of time. We've still got just under half an hour till time cap, so it's not like we're still not in the closing stages of this game. It's still within their reach. Nixon. Oh, it's just match defense here from Dansk. Throws too much for her. That drifts out of bounds. So these lateral passes are causing both teams for Varda. Probably had to put a bit more power on it going upwind. Hines to resume quickly. Vino, it's Payne is immediately called down. What do you think, Gemma? Did you?
I didn't get to see it.
Looked down to me. They've gone to game advisor Steve Baker there. He'll share his opinion.
I think usually it depends on if they've got their fingers underneath, but sometimes it can be really hard to tell.
I think after listening to Baker there, they've called that down. I think that trailing edge should hit the turf before she got her fingers underneath it. We'll see if we can get a replay soon. Varda, he pumps that forehand long, looking for Pentland, but difficult to reach his right shoulder. Has to go low to try and get it, but can't reel it in. So
Varda's been a major handler and thrower in this game for Royal Dansk, and just some of them aren't going off.
So Angus Hines from New Zealand to resume 64 from goal. I reckon he'll try and look just to put it maybe to Ma here. Perhaps Evans. Well, Matthews Hunter's the one to go deep, but goes in short to Evans. I think they just want to go for territory here. They don't want to Hines, he stuck the hand out, going for the block, and Payne has immediately called foul. I don't know about that one. Oh, that looked clean to me, but
Looks like it was a contested foul.
yeah, I think maybe Hines got his wrist or hand on the block instead of the clean disc. Puts the shot over to Penland, and Sebdadam cleans it up. He puts that big break backhand out, but out of the reach of Mihatch. Probably rushed that one a bit too much.
Definitely, if that goal would have been in, would have been ready for Mihatch to lay out for that one.
Geez, it would have rolled them up too, wouldn't it? So Nixon to resume play. 64 from goal. Caroma, they've gone. The vertical stack. Maha's gone. She has gone fast, and Simnadam saw that coming from Nixon. Nixon put a bit too much angle on that one, I think. Just he weighted it well. Good pace on it, but
Seems to be a couple of little errors from both teams. They're starting to lose that focus, I think. So perhaps they just need to, again, focus on the basics. Just get those throws out. Just like that.
Payne, Mihatch. Varda's gone ahead of the disc here. Alarcon.
There's not much movement coming from Royal
Dansk.
Dansk.
Has to shoot. She shot at Varda. What a throw.
Mabel's
Puts
there.
it in front of Eldred. Can she get there? Lays out. No. It was a leading pass to her advantage. I think she looked over the wrong shoulder at first off, so set off in the wrong direction, but
Great bid.
it was a good look. Chung wants to go back to Matthews Hunter, who's been guarded by
Great
Varda. That's
cover.
going to be hectic. Nixon gets the shot, sends the backhand looking for Vito. She's reeled it in. She's got Evans one out with Pentland, but heads backwards to Ma. Great one-handed catch there. Matthews Hunter has found space. Royal Dansk absolutely scrambling, but there's been
a call.
Another travel call. Second call on Ma. I don't think she's going to
Doesn't look very happy.
I don't think she's going to be impressed with that one. So everyone's going to have to reset to where they were on the throw, which was mostly behind the disc.
Sometimes it takes a couple of seconds to make some calls like that, if you're not sure, but travels perhaps a little bit earlier.
I still think that Matthews Hunter had enough of an advantage, but it didn't really matter. Again, it's just gone straight to him. He's 1 metre from goal. All his options are covered. Heads across. Payne gets a finger on it, but Hines is underneath it. And just goes straight over the top to Evans.
Nathan Payne's very disappointed about not catching those Ds, because sometimes you really need to get a hand on those Ds. It's not about just hitting it out of the way, not with this wind as well.
And Hines read that beautifully. The second Payne got his fingertips on it. Hines just pitched a 10th, thought that might come back to me if I'm just patient. So you see again, it was a high stall count too. Matthews Hunter had no choice but to throw that one. That was his last look. Payne got good solid whack on it. But as you see all the Dansk players closed in on it, and Evans just thought, if I hang out the back here, and Hines catches it, I'm on for a goal here. You'll see it better from this angle. As it pops up, you see Pentland and I think it's Eldred close in quickly. Evans just trotted a couple of steps backwards. Easy goal.
See Nathan Payne face a little bit disappointed there.
Dansk was going to be shattered at that point. They had, I think, 3 goes. They had it 3 shots into the end zone going upwind, only to concede the goal in the end.
When you're working so hard.
Yep. And the margin now 5 goals, and that's just about, I think it's beyond their reach now. We have seen teams come from 5 goals down plenty of times this weekend already, but we haven't seen a lot to say that Dank's going to be able to do it. Lowry to Vo. Vo having to readjust her grip. She's put too much on it. It's gone forward. Weimer cleans it out. C having to go low to reel that one in. Across to Weimer. He's got another shot further this side, but opts not to take it. He's gone low and wide looking for C, and he's caught his own throw, which of course means a turnover, but avoids any further loss of territory. Howard Lady shot over the top. There's Mar, there's Vo.
Oh.
It's a double tap. Come off about 3 sets of fingers, that one.
That was actually quite a good throw from Howard there.
Very good throw. What a hectic point.
How the tables have turned.
We saw a few different looks. People, we saw a change in handler personnel there. Lowry sat back and got play initiated for Dansk. We usually see Varda playing that role, but Howard, again, just same as what we were talking about with Nixon before, just didn't put too much on it.
Mars there for the backup. I think Vo was very grateful there for that.
Vo just slowed it down for him. So 7-11. There's still a lot of time. There's still 20 minutes till time cap. So again, if Dansk can get this one in and get the downwind, bring it back to a 2-goal game, it becomes a bit more interesting. But at the moment, we haven't seen a lot to feel confident about them doing that.
I think they just need to, they're usually a very excitable and very cheerful team, and so I think they just need to get their mojo back.
Yeah, of course, not to take anything away from Caroma, they've just had control of this game from the outset.
Very short pull.
Yeah, defending about 30 minutes of field space here. Nixon, they've got, they've isolated Liu in the middle of the field. He comes back to the handler space. Weatherall's gone to the end zone again. Sure. Yeah. Throw was just too light for her. Parks to Payne. Again, they're all playing in a bit too close here, I think. Varda to Payne. Put too much on it. That's going to lose a lot of territory.
It's a shame.
Yep.
Really need to switch on their defense now.
Yep. About 5 minutes of goal pinned on this near sideline. So Dansk really guarding this side of the field. Exposing that throw to Matthews Hunter. Sure. Continues up to Matthews Hunter, who doesn't quite reel it in. Good pressure there from Payne.
You can see a lot of Caroma players sitting in the back, trying to let their handlers do the work for them, and then popping it over if need be.
We've seen a few throws go stray now as they throw from too low and put it up too high. But much better throw from Varda there. Alarcon. Not much coming towards her.
We're all dancing quite static there. Need to have more cuts going on, otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Caroma's just setting up defensively. They're not worried at all about the deep shot anymore. So they've just got to guard those short throws, and it's much easier to do that when you don't have to worry about any long-range shots. It's really only Varda, perhaps Pentland, taking shots, but Simner make sure of that one. It's really only been Varda, to an extent, Eldred, Pentland, perhaps Alarcon, that are really going to be able to take those shots upwind. So unless one of them has the disc, there's really no need to worry about deep coverage. So you can see them all guarding much closer to their player with Varda's got the disc. He puts a shot in the middle. Simnadam has to have a second go but doesn't get it. Nixon reads it better. Eunice Chong. Matthews Hunter. Heads across to an unguarded Nixon. He's got a couple of looks, takes his time. Pops it up over the top to Mar.
They are so good, those over the head shots.
Yeah. We've seen a few of them from Pete Nixon today.
I'm actually surprised in the wind. Like, it just seems impossible to throw those. It just seems like the wind would just push it away, but somehow I think they just get enough spin on it.
Yeah. So that's 12-7 now. So Caroma, again, we have a look at that shot from Nixon. Again, he didn't put a lot of forward power on it, just popped it up, plenty of spin, and he's angled it back. He's angled it back towards himself as well, so that means the wind can then push it basically forward and down into the lap of his receiver. So get a better look at it on this angle. Yeah, fantastically done. So Danks, they want to put this one in quickly. Just keep the score rolling, but I think think they're going to run out of points before they run out of time. Caroma only need 3 more to close this game out. We're still 16 minutes away from the time cap, so.
I mean, who knows with this wind, it really is strong and it's just making lots of turns from both sides.
Another challenge in this wind, Gemma, is you can barely hear what your teammates are saying.
Yeah, the sideline support, on-field support, communication. Be understandable if people are getting a bit frustrated at each other, but both teams are actually showing really good patience here.
Hatch. A lot of cuts unfolding at once. Lipari. He's got a couple of deep looks, sends it up wide looking for Ma, but I don't think Ma sort of thought that was to him. Bit of a speculative shot by Lipari there, but probably a bit smart because they've now got a lot of field to defend. Dignam. Osmond.
Looks like they're doing a zone defense.
Osmond breaks it through to Yuma, too high. Lowry cleans up the D.
Not much happening now.
Yeah. Good shot through the middle to Miach. That's a goal. That was a good sneaky little shot. That was a fantastic throw by Lowry there.
Yep. Raw Tanks weren't doing much, so Lowry just saw Miach and thought, yep, right there.
They took a bit of time to set their defense there. They were more worried about covering space while they worked out who was actually guarding who. See Osmond there. Very much a perfectionist on the sporting field. Osmond won't be happy with how that played out. Osmond, a star player in the Open Division for Chile.
Miach actually had a player on her, but just took a couple of steps to the right.
The defender just didn't expect that throw to come. That was Eunice Chung on her. Just caught flat-footed. Did not expect the throw.
You can see them laughing there.
That's the spot. Yep, I got done. And it's good to see. You know the sort of the players with good mental fortitude. They recognise when they're being beaten, and they don't get frustrated about it. It just allows them just to move on and focus on the next play. Just go, right, well, I got done. Let's look ahead.
It's good spirit as well, just to say, hey, you did actually a good job there.
Yeah, acknowledging good play by your opponents. C. Hines. Weatherall and O'Connor are one out at the back, at the top of the screen. Vow with a run through
Great
D.
D from Vo.
Sims gets it going quickly. Varda.
Vo's looking long.
Can she reel it in? No, too far. That was a great shot by Varda. Puts it just low and flat and at the centre of the end zone. Nixon to restart. Not many options for him. Has to go wide to C.
Weatherall is running deep.
Yeah. So he just sat back and waited for that to come into him rather than go early. All the cuts coming towards Nixon. A bit untidy, so it just goes to Hines. Weatherall. She's covered some territory at this point. Back to Hines. He's got a deep look there, looking for Andrew C. Beautifully weighted, straight to the lap.
Throw.
What a throw. Probably one of the best throws of the game, I think. It was
flat.
Flat and straight down the sideline too. Just flat and direct. We saw early in the game, Caroma liked to just work it down that sideline. Happy to work in the 3 or 4 metre corridor. And
It's made it look so easy too. Very effortless.
Simnadam just had no hope of getting that one. It was over his left shoulder.
Not quite a strong defensive pressure there by Pentland, which I think made it easier for him.
Yep. Allowed Hines just to have a full wind up.
Caroma had a lot of deep cuts happening there, so I think they were just waiting for the one throw from here, from Hines, to come off, and it did beautifully.
Look at that. Beautifully weighted. Again, didn't have to put a lot of power on it, but very easy for C to reel that in, and that's 13-8.
It's still quite a slow static game. It's, they're haven't reached time cap yet, so it's still a challenge despite the point difference.
Of course, still 3 rounds of pool play to go, with all teams playing 7 pool games before we head into playoffs mode. Howard, that instant shot, and Evans gets that to the ground nice and comfortably.
Great D from Evans there, just hits it right to the ground.
So the upcoming games for each team, we've got Royal Dansk face Sublime from WA next. Should be competitive for them. And Caroma plays Soy Pud in what'll be one of the toughest games of the tournament for both teams. Both highly rated, high seeded. Chung pinned on that sideline by the Royal Dansk zone, has to just shoot, sends the speculator out to Osman, but
Beautiful throw there from Chung, but Osman just wasn't ready for it.
it was a high stall count. She just had to pin it. Eldred throws caution with the wind, and Lipari manages to run it down, but lands out in the back of the end zone. And that's more of the throw we're accustomed to see from Mabel Eldred. Likes to stand and deliver. Finally, someone cut for her.
Lipari is laughing a bit there. I think he was quite close to the disc, but just not quite there enough.
I think it was just too far out the back.
Yeah.
Good throw by Evans to the middle, Dignam. Back to Ma.
So close, Ma.
To Chung.
The Royal Danks have really put on their D at this point.
Yeah. Just continual movement by Caroma just doesn't allow them to completely set their zone, and lots of gaps open up. No, Mark nearly got that one down. Hines back to Evans. Evans sends it through to Osmond on his own. Clinical zone offense. If you're a young player watching at home, wanting to know the best way to play against the zone upwind, that's the point you need to go back and watch again. You see players, each time they've caught the disc, steadied. They're moving it swiftly, but they're not hurrying themselves at all, generally. They're waiting till they're set, steady. They know where their cutter is. Just nice smooth throws every time. Just not allowing Danks to get comfortable. And of course, as a result, this gap opens up. Evans fires it, I think it's the next pass here. Evans fires it straight through Osmond. 15 metres out the back on his own. And he split the two defenders beautifully.
I think the Royal Dansk are having their pressure closer to the disc rather than behind them, which has happened a lot, where in that point you just saw that they popped it over. And perhaps they need to adjust a bit more to that.
So we hear the second whistle go. This potentially could be the last point of the game, with Caroma heading downwind, looking to get to 15. Varda. Alacon unguarded. Good tough defense from Caroma here. This is going to have to be a speculative shot. Throws it into a pack, but everyone is content to let it hit the ground. Liu to start for Caroma. Puts the shot up, looking for Weatherall. Gets it straight over to Weimar, and that does it.
Liu just looked, he just gave the nod to Weatherall then, just sent it to her and just down the line.
Yeah. So that's the game. Caroma win. Well, Caroma, the win is 15-8 over Royal Dansk. The Victorian Derby, not quite the barn burner we thought it could be, but both teams showing a lot of patience and resilience in these conditions. So thanks for joining us for game one. We've got plenty of action, 4 more games today. Hope you stay with us all day on the Ultimate Australia YouTube channel. Thanks to production from Ulti TV. It's been Simon Talbot here with Gemma Reddick. Thanks for joining us.